The first client is a left-handed professional golfer. The diagnosis of his ball flight was a pull. His shoulders were open to the target line with the club face square to his path. The changes we worked on were correctly aligning the shoulders to the target line. This was done because the swing path was dictated by the shoulders, making the path out to in. The changes were implemented using alignment sticks at address to give feedback to the client on where his shoulders were and where they should be. Following this, an impact bag was used sporadically to provide instant feedback on alignment at impact. Finally, questions were asked throughout the lesson with photo evidence to compare where the golfer thought his shoulders were aiming to where they should be aiming and were corrected accordingly.
Whoa.
The next two videos you're about to see follow a 3-week progressive lesson plan, with the first video without any lessons at all and the final video following the progressive plan. The first lesson, the ball flight was undefined as it did not exceed 30 yards. However, when it did, it was a push slice. The relevant impact factors were centeredness of strike and angle of attack, which was shallow. The causes were ball position on the face, which was towards the heel, the ball position in the stance, which was towards the front foot, and the setup of the hands, which were well behind the ball. The changes made were moving the ball position to the centre of the club face for an increased centre of strike. The ball was moved to the middle of the stance with the irons to improve centre of strike and also steepen the angle of attack. The drills used were brushing of the mat on practice swings, show me the ball position on 1 in every 3 shots, and stepping off the ball and resetting up with the hands forward, and questions were asked throughout. Following this, week 2. The ball flight had become a push or a push slice. The path was in to out and the club face was square or open to the path and right of the target line. This affected the centeredness of strike as the club face was open and the heel and blade led the approach. The principles causing this were dynamic balance, as there was no weight transfer. There is currently no turn through the ball, with both feet remaining on the floor. From this, I looked to increase the release with body movement through impact. I also encouraged forearm rotation to increase release to manipulate the club face alignment and alter curvature. Drills used were holding the finish at the end of the swing, throwing a tennis ball to improve weight transfer, and the rugby pass which manipulated the forearms through impact. Week 3. The release of the body was much improved. However, ball flight was still a push or a push slice. Observations of the grip were made and it was seen to be too much in the left hand, which led to the club face being open to target. The causes were poor release through impact, causing the club face to remain open at impact, facing right to target line. The left hand was also preventing Jacob from rotating the club through impact. The change of the left hand on the grip was backed up with drills, which included gripping the club with only the left hand, making sure he could see 2 knuckles, providing him feedback, letting him know whether he had got this correct. Closing the gap between the thumb and index finger, and I also forced him to grip the club within his fingers rather than the hand. This allowed his hand to release better, so a straighter ball flight occurred, and there was also an improvement in distance as his lever system was positively affected.